Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Namo eWaste Management Limited H1 FY25 earnings conference call hosted by Ventura Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touch-tone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Before we begin, I would like to point out that this conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company which are based on the belief, opinions and expectations of the company as on date of this call. These statements do not guarantee the future performance of the company, and it may involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. I would now like to hand over the floor to Kaushal from Confideleap Partners. Thank you, and over to you, Kaushal.
Thank you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Ventura Securities Limited and Confideleap Partners, I welcome you all to Namo eWaste Management Limited H1 FY25 earnings conference call. The company is today represented by Mr. Akshay Jain, Managing Director, and Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, Chief Executive Officer. I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Akshay for his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to each of you as we gather for the first earnings call of Namo eWaste Management Limited post-listing on NSE, where we aim to delve into our first half-year performance for FY24-25. Before we delve into the specifics of H1 and FY25, allow me to provide a concise overview of our company. Namo eWaste, founded in 2014, is one of the leading players in India's sustainable e-waste management sector. As a key contributor to the circular economy, we offer a comprehensive suite of services that includes electronic and electrical waste recycling, reverse logistics, data destruction, IT asset dispositioning, and extended producer responsibility. Back in 2017, we were the first company in India to initiate EPR recycling. Since then, we have earned ISO and R2 certifications and developed exclusive precious metal recovery technology under the guidance of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, that is METI. With over 250 clients served, over 100 plus products recycling categories, and more than 25 awards and recognition, we are proud of our contributions to India's sustainable future. In 2024, we achieved a significant milestone by listing on the NSE SME on 11 September 2024, making a new era of growth and expansion. Our IPO got oversubscribed by a whopping 225 times, evidencing the fact that the e-waste industry is rapidly growing and drawing attention from the investor community. Currently, our operations include 3 recycling plants with a combined recycling capacity of over 30,500 metric tons per annum and a network of more than 26 collection centers across the country. We have strategic partnerships with leading tech and fintech companies serving clients like Philips, Amazon, Adobe, GE, Paytm, Samsung, and many others. Post the listing, we are expanding our footprint into the new facilities, thereby increasing our total recycling capacity to 56,500 plus metric tons per annum by Q2 FY26, strengthening our position in India's rapidly growing e-waste management sector. A 11,050 metric ton lithium-ion battery recycling plant in Nashik, which will leverage the growing opportunity in battery waste management, to be commissioned in Q1 FY26. At 15,000 metric ton plant in the TSIIC Electronic Manufacturing Cluster in Hyderabad, a strategic location providing access to the southern IT market and optimized logistics to be set up by FY26. Now let's take a look at the industry. India is the world's third largest e-waste producer, generating 3.2 million tons annually a figure that is expected to reach 5 million tons by 2030. The Indian e-waste management market, currently valued at $1660 million, is projected to grow at $5198 million by 2022 as per previous market reports. This is a growth of around four and a half times. Yet, only about 30% of e-waste is properly recycled, with 70% collected and mismanaged by the informal sector. Globally, unrecycled e-waste results in a loss of $57 billion of precious metals. By 2022, the valuable metals recovery from e-waste could reach to up to $3,500 million and consumer electronics could represent a $3,287 million market, highlighting the vast potential in e-waste management. I would like to now comment on the financial highlights of H1 FY25. Our income grew to 88.4% to INR 6,700 lakhs, where our EBITDA has increased by 42.46% to a INR of 680.96 lakhs with a 10.16 margin, and PAT rose to 95.77% to INR 534.31 lakhs with a 7.97% margin and EPS of INR 2.34. Our ROE stands at 8.84 and ROCE at 7.09% post issuance of fresh capital in IPO. Looking ahead, Namo eWaste maintains an optimistic outlook grounded in its strong performance and strategic initiatives aimed at achieving industry prominence. The company's consistent growth and financial stability positions it favorably for continued success in the dynamic market landscape. Before we delve into the question and answer session, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all our stakeholders for being an integral part of our growth journey. Your support and involvement have played a crucial role in our success, and we genuinely appreciate your valuable contribution. With this, I would now like to open the floor for questions and answers. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for your presence and continued support.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. First question comes from Sunny Kumar from IAF. Please go ahead.
Number. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are.
Sir, I was just checking the peer comparison. Whereas your EBITDA margin and eco recycling EBITDA margin, eco recycling EBITDA margin is also 20%. Can you tell your valuable input how this differs with them?
It is a matter of surprise to us also, because our PAT margins are very well just around or just above the industrial average. So, Eco is performing, I think they have a different set of services or some other sources of income, which we are not aware of. As far as the industrial practice goes, we are slightly above the average of our industrial peers.
And second, sir, what is the capex outlay and how much fund it will take to do the capex which is planned?
So we are looking at for the lithium ion plant in Nashik, we are looking close to about total about 11.7 crores, and also for Telangana for a e-waste plant we are looking close to about 15 odd crores.
This will be proceeded from IPO fundraising.
So IPO, we have taken this lithium-ion funding plant in Nashik. That is the thing which we already anticipated, and that's we already made a provision for IPO. The Telangana project, we will be able to fund it from our own internal sources.
Thank you, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you very much, and congratulations for your future.
Thank you. Next question comes from Prathamesh Diwar from Tiger Assets. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, sir, congrats for the good set of number in H1. So just couple of questions.
So much.
Yeah. Sir, what was our capacity utilization in H1 on 30,000 MTPA capacity?
We have utilized around 35% of capacity in first half.
Okay. And so what is the maximum revenue that we can clock on the current capacity?
See, it really depends on the products that we are recycling. There are products which are higher in value. So we cannot do that level of comparison when it comes to our business. It can be only a quantific comparison in terms of metric tons, the capacity utilization. As far as the current capacity goes, on a top side, we can reach to a revenue of around 800,000 crores.
Okay. And by when?
But all of that majorly it depends on the product that we are recycling.
Okay, got it. And so by when we are expected to reach a maximum capacity, a maximum utilization in current capacity?
With current capacity, we would be utilizing 100% within 18 to 24 months.
Okay, got it, sir. And so just question regarding the capex in the lithium ion side. So once the plant gets, are we expecting any further margin improvement, or it will be in the similar range only?
No, battery looks like a better perspective in terms of margin. So, and there is a lot of value addition that we are looking to do with the spent batteries. So yes, I think like our refurbishment margin is also slightly higher than recycling. I think same will be replicated in battery.
Okay. And so if I can talk about the industry outlook in the lithium ion, so how has been the industry panning out? How, like, can we source like the raw materials on a regular basis in a lithium ion side? So just wanted to know on the industry.
Yeah. So we have been collecting batteries because it comes as a complementary thing with electronic waste. So that's the reason why we have specifically entered into this domain. And all the more reason that why we are putting up this plant in Nashik is that we already have our existing customers that we have been working for past 2-3 years. And now that the battery rules have come out from the CPCB, so separate license has to be attained for battery recycling. Earlier we were doing it complementary with eWaste. So we have a lot of engagements, that are in place, and we are confident in able to source a good amount of batteries.
Got it, sir. And so just last one more question, if I can stretch it. After completing the capex, how much time it will require us to get into the peak utilization, and what sort of top line can we clock after doing the capex on the, let's say, peak utilization, 100% utilization?
On the 100% utilization for battery, the maximum that we can go to would be around 80 to 120 crores.
And for the overall 56 MTPA capacity, 56,000 MTPA?
For that, I think we would be very well over 500, 600 odd crores. Yeah.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you so much. And all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question comes from Vinit Khatri from Chris PMS. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is with respect to the EPR. If you can please take us through the entire process of how you receive the order and how the entire things work. Like, what's the payment cycle, and do we receive in advance, and how the thing work when it comes to EPR thing, and what are the margin and things like that.
Yeah. So for EPR, we have to collect the raw material from market, where we are primarily dependent on our aggregators. So we have a widespread network of over 250 odd aggregators across the country. We keep collecting the material from the market, and there is a negative delta when we recycle that material. So for example, if we buy at a cost of 50 rupees from Kabadiwala, from the aggregator, it comes to us through reverse logistic expenses, and there are other overheads, and then the recycling happens. So our costs sometimes from 50 it goes to 60 rupees, and the recovery is only 50 rupees when the extracted products are sold. So the incentivization of that 10 rupees that we make a loss of during recycling is being incentivized by the producer under EPR, plus our profit. So for example, for this trade, we would be charging somewhere around 18 to 20 rupees from the producer for this whole activity. So this is how the EPR economics works. We do get a lot of purchase orders from the producers. That could be quarterly, or it could be half yearly. It could be phase wise or the whole consolidated quantity. But there is no provision for advance. This is not the market practice. No producer is paying us the advance. It is only after the completion of the whole the target that we submit a service invoice to the producer.
Okay, so what's the margin you said?
Within 30 days.
What's the margin you said? Like cost you told, for example, if a 10 rupee loss, right? A 60 rupees cost plus a 50 rupees of recovery you can do. So they will incentivize it.
Our gross margin in EPR is around 18%.
18%.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more information, because you've asked a question on the EPR, and it's very relevant for the industry. See, recently CPCB, in the month of September has come out with a circular which talks about the minimum rates for the EPR business. So earlier, different kind of rates were prevailing. Recyclers were charging different rates. It was very, very competitive market. But now CPCB has given a mandate to all the producers and manufacturers and also to recyclers to work for different categories at a certain minimum rate, which is effective immediate from immediate effect. And that circular came on 9th of September 24.
So this means that all the players in the industry would be having same margins, right? When it comes to EPR business?
See, CPCB has defined minimum rates. You can always charge premium for the services.
Okay.
So minimum rates have been defined, but maximum, depending upon the comfort and the quality of work which you do, you are free to charge higher price if the producer is willing to pay. So that margin can be increased also. But the minimum rates have been defined.
Okay. And sir, one more question. It may be a basic one, but yes, like we have different verticals, right? One of them is EPR. When it comes to the other verticals, what do we sell? Like at the end, if we are recycling something and we get valuables, right? Metals are there, aluminium, gold, right? Yeah. So, how do we generate money from that then? Do we sell it in open market?
Yeah, we sell it in open market, but it's not exactly that we sell it in small quantities. We try to sell it to the best application possible. So, for example, our copper goes to the copper smelter, who is the final end product user. It goes to that. So we always try to find out the best application of our extracted material, and then it is channelized directly to the best source in order to get better value.
Okay, got it.
So our downstream is not like the small collectors. It is mostly the big industries, foundries.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And sir, if we our current capacity utilization, as you said earlier, is 35%, right? So if we do we have any targets of increasing it to and at better utilization? What will be our EBITDA margins then?
See, we definitely want to maintain the margins, the EBITDA margins that we have, and now that we have reduced our cost because of fundraising, there is no pressure of interest and other things. So yes, we are looking at better EBITDA margins in the future.
And also, as I said, that the minimum rates have been defined now, so there will be some margin on that side also.
Okay, sir. Okay. I'll get back in queue if I have more questions. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Okay.
Thank you. Next question comes from Kaushal Sharma from Equinox Capital Ventures. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Very good evening, and congratulations to you for the amazing numbers. So I want to ask question on your working capital side. So could you please let me know the inventory, because your inventory is elevated too much. In H1 financial 24, we are having around 14.65 crores of inventory. Now it is reached to 31.35 crores. So what is the reason of increasing the inventory? And if possible, could you please give me the breakup in terms of your product segment like EPR, refurbishment and recycling of that 31.35 crores?
So first, I am answering your question to the rise in inventory level. So in September, we had got a very good opportunity of lifting material at a heavy discount. This purchase was done when we got our funds from IPO, etc. And that purchases was done in the last 10 days of September. These materials are picked up from various locations across India, including Chennai, Bangalore, etc. So it takes about 5 to 7 days in terms of getting those materials. So what happened that these materials typically came in the last week of September. So that is when you are seeing a spike in the finished goods. Now typically this cycle for our material is about 40 to 45 days. We are able to sell it and recover the money. So the stock levels have already come down, and I think as we move forward, we are selling the stock. It will come back to normal level in some time. The advantage was that because the heavy discount was available, the festival season in India starts, from October onwards. We got a good discount, so we lifted material.
And what is the breakup of these 35.35 crores in our products, like EPR, refurbishment and recycling?
Approximately 5 crores of inventory of refurbished products, and final product in terms of metals and the ready to go product, the sellable product, that inventory is around 7 crores, and rest is in finished goods.
And could you please tell me the breakup of 52.61 crore that we have done in H1 financial year 2025 in terms of revenue?
52.51, I think.
61 crores.
Sorry?
Like
So this
H1 financial year 25, we did around 52.61 crores, right?
Okay. I think you are seeing two balance sheets. The balance sheet which you are talking about is a standalone balance sheet of Namo. We are today talking about the consolidated balance sheet.
Consolidated, correct.
Right. So typically,
67 crores. Yeah.
67 crore. So typically we have close to 60% of it coming from recycling, close to 15% from refurbishment, and rest from EPR and consultancy services.
So 6 crore from recycling, 15 crore from refurbishment, and rest from EPR, right?
No, I said 60% is typically from recycling, of the different projects and sale of metals, right? About 15% comes from refurbishment of IT assets, and the rest, 20% is through the EPR and our consultancy services.
Okay, sir. And one more question from on the trade receivables. If we see that the trade receivable is also spiked from 6.7 crore to 14 crore, if I see in H1. So what is the reason?
So as I said, a lot of sales happened in the last week of September because when we got the material, right? So that is the reason, and typically we get money in about 30 odd days time. So therefore you are seeing a spike which is in line with our operations, because you will also appreciate that we have grown our revenue by 88%. So if you do the apple to apple comparison, you will probably see a spike everywhere.
And just want to confirm one thing also, sir. I am seeing your presentation. You have written that around 3.36 crores of mobile we are recycling on a yearly basis, around 28 lakhs per month, and home appliances around 1.24 crores, around 10 lakhs per month, and around 5 lakhs laptops, around 40,000 per month. So where are they sourcing these? Because these are the very huge number in terms of mobile, if we say.
Yeah. So we are sourcing it directly from the companies. The market procurement or aggregator procurement is only for EPR. Majority of our procurement in terms of value comes directly from the companies. So we are working exclusively with many mobile companies, where, we are the only service provider in India for them. So
could you please name such company, if possible?
Well, we are working with Samsung exclusively. We are working with Dixon, Xiaomi.
Okay.
And then the various subsidiaries of these companies, the contracted manufacturers, which are spread across India. So something from Foxconn, BBGs and these kind of companies.
Yeah, so we are exclusively working with these companies, right?
Some of them are exclusive and some of them are,
on a multiple vendor platform.
Regular basis.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for answering the question and best of luck.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next question comes from Jaisha from Genity Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, congratulations for a good set of numbers, sir. Sir, I had a couple of questions in 2023 when you acquired Teheco, saying that, you want to expand into lithium-ion recycling. First of all, I mean, what advantage would the acquisition get to us? In terms of, is it a technology? Is it a partnership? Is it, what is it that the company gets us? So that is number one.
Okay. So Teheco was formed. It was LLP, and anyway Akshay has 33% partnership in that LLP, and there were two other friends which were part of that, and they were doing the similar business. And when we wanted to expand, I think it's better we to control the entire thing. And because our intent is to become one of the biggest player in India. That's the reason what we have done doing acquisition. We are putting up more plants. We are also looking at various acquisition opportunities just to build more capacity because eWaste, opportunities are growing up, right? And that's the reason we want to leverage it. And that's the reason why we have taken it over directly under our control.
Okay, so there is nothing in terms of technology that the acquisition gets to us. We already have the technology for.
We are using the almost same technology. It's just we get advantage of being present in Maharashtra, and of course, as you know, we are a pan-India player. So there are certain things which we procure and which we recycle there. So it helps us in probably minimizing our logistic cost also.
We see the recycling as a decentralized business. So rather than investing heavily in a plant and then feeding it from across India, we rather want to have multiple facilities and one high-tech plant where we can recover everything, end-to-end recycling, and supported by multiple plants which can be handled locally, and so that sourcing becomes feasible for us. This is a way to be, more competitive in industry.
Right. Also, just one thing, because you said lithium-ion, you mentioned that we are looking at lithium-ion recycling and that's what the Nashik plant is for. So, do you think there is going to be enough already batteries in the market? Because as we talk to automobile companies, the electric vehicles are still not picking up that part as expected. So, you think that there will be enough, scrap for you to recycle in the next couple of years?
See, again, you are very right with the study that, we also see that proper recycling efficiency is about some time away in India. But see, right now what is happening, there is a huge demand for secondary battery packs. So there is a proper downflow of, the batteries, how it goes to recycling. The end of life battery goes for recycling, whereas before that, when the efficiency of battery is reduced, it can be easily reused, remanufactured, repacked, and rebranded and resold in the market. So this is what majority of the battery players, I am not talking about, companies who are branding themselves as recyclers, but the companies who are working in this domain, they are focusing more on that part right now. So we are also on the similar terms. Of course, recycling and refurbishment, they always go hand in hand, and the paradigm will shift in some time from refurbishment to recycling. So we are targeting, we have gained knowledge on both the fronts, and right now we will be focusing more on, battery refurbishment and production of secondary battery packs.
Got it. So that I'm assuming would be relatively a lower margin business compared to recycling, because recycling is
so it is a better margin business. Let me tell you again that refurbishment is always a better margin business than recycling.
Okay. Understood. So, just if I may have missed, what was the capacity utilization out of this 50,000 that we have totally? 30,000 that we have totally till now.
30,000 we have utilized around 35% in first half.
Okay, in first half. So do we expect to go anywhere between 60-65 over the next 6 months?
We'll end this. We are looking to end this year at around 80-90%.
Okay, great. Okay, that's it from my side, and all the best for the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question comes from Shivam Singh from Money Club Investment. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Please go ahead, sir.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. So the first question is, sir, we have a 3-segment eWaste, refurbishment and EPR. So which is the highest margin business, sir, out of this?
Refurbishment. On an average basis, refurbishment is the highest margin business.
Okay, so refurbishment right now just contributing a 15% in our top line, sir, as you mentioned, 16, 15 and 20. So what is our future outlook? What we are planning, what percentage we are planning to come from the refurbishment, sir, going forward?
We see refurbishment always in the range of around 50 to 30%. Because there is a lot of competition in the refurbishment sector, and it is again a very unorganized sector, scattered across India. And the refurbishment rules have also been cleared only in 23 rules by the CPCB. Before that, refurbishment as standalone business was not identified in the e-waste rules. So now that refurbishment is going to pick up gradually, there is formalization of the whole process of recycling. There are guidelines coming up. There is proper identification of who has the capability to refurbish or recycle it. So there is differentiators which were earlier not there, and now this business is getting formalized in India. It's still like just couple of years that it is being formalized, and we are doing only IT appliances refurbishment majorly.
Understood. So, sir, on the same note, can you just elaborate what kind of a competition we are seeing in e-waste and EPR also, sir? Like the market is going towards the organized from the unorganized segment, sir?
Actually, in e-waste, it was much more unorganized, and now it is getting organized, and we are on the good side of it. That there is definitely advantage that is coming our way, whether it's minimum rates that is defined by the CPCB, and there are other things, like they've expanded the Schedule 1 in which the EPR is now applicable to over 120 items. So e-waste had its share of struggle, but now it is becoming better for stakeholders like us. Whereas refurbishment is relatively new, so it will take some time to properly structure itself.
Understood, sir. Just one more last question, sir. On the margin side, sir, so on this year, if you look at on H1 basis, our margin is decreased by almost 250 to 300 basis points. But going forward, as you mentioned, we procure waste on a lower price also at the end of a quarter. And also in a CPCB, the minimum rate is defined. And also you mentioned the refurbishment contribution will be increased from a 15 to around 30%. So what kind of a margin we can expect, sir? Can we expect around 15, more than a 15% going forward?
Well, that is looks like visible, but we can't overcome it at this moment. We are looking at a better margin than last year, definitely. But I think just to double that would be slightly stretched. I don't think that would be possible for this year. But yes, we are looking at definitely at an improved figure from last year.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. I repeat, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Next question comes from Prachok, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations on a really excellent performance this year in the first half. So my question is, so we understand that since last 2-3 years there has been a government initiative to formalize this e-waste recycling, right? And a lot of growth that has happened in this business has been triggered by the regulatory environment in the country. So my question is, sir, do you see to what extent do you see this regulations getting further strengthened? And when you compare it with the European or the US market, do you still see a lot of gap that India has in terms of regulation? And if there is further tightening of the regulation, how would that further impact our business? That's my question number one.
So right now, I see there is no gap in terms of regulations and the rules that have come out. They are as stringent as they could be. That is how they are adopted in over 150 countries across the world. And we are giving huge compliments to the regulator for coming out with such kind of guidelines and making it law. Now, what comes next for us is implementation phase. So India has gone through first the regulations were out, then there was capacity building phase, and the third phase that now we have entered into is implementation phase. So as far as from the recycler side, we cannot ask. We have nothing to ask from the government as of now, because all the demands and all the framework that the recyclers were asking for has more or less been addressed by the CPCB. So everything they have now given the onus of this entire activity to the producers. So we have, as far as today, we have nothing to ask from the CPCB. But yes, implementation is happening on a ground level. They have started the audit. So we expect that bad competition will be flooded out of the market soon. And with proper implementation of these guidelines, I think we are looking at a huge turnaround for this space in India.
And sir, what would be the timeline of this turnaround? What do you anticipate? How long would it take for the proper implementation to be done on the ground?
Now we see, basically 6 to 12 months, where all the audits are completed, and so there is some resistance from the producer side for current laws, which is being now government has to listen to everyone. So they are explaining and they are fighting on behalf of the recyclers in order to implement these rules.
Understood. So that's very helpful. So my second question is related to the capacity utilization. So I think from previous answers I gather that we have been somewhere around 35% capacity utilized in H1, right?
Yes.
So what are the factors that determine why could we not do more, considering that this space has a lot of demand from the corporate side? Is it a function of the collection efficiency? Do we need more collection centers? Could you throw some light on that front? Why is it 35 and not maybe 50 or 60? Because we already anticipate more more ability of ours to do, right? We are already putting a plant, and by next year, this time, maybe that plant might be functional. So what is the what are the factors that decide how this capacity utilization grows?
Yeah. So what happens that just like other businesses, this is also a regulated business done by CPCB, right? So every producer has been given target for the year, and typically it is something like that. Insurance is best sold in the in the last quarter, because everybody has to take it before the end of the financial year. Similarly, in this market, if you look at even the last year trend, first 6 months we had done 35 crores and we finished the year at 100 crores. Because second half is a better period, because every producer, importer, manufacturer, whosoever has a target has to ensure that the targets are met. So, and also this year what has happened because of the change in guidelines and the minimum rates thing. So a lot of producers are just holding their orders and giving their mandate to recycler, because they feel that maybe the minimum rates are brought down. Because earlier, if you take the average rate of EPR in the market was close to about 14 to 15, while we were doing business at 25, because we were doing business with the better companies who were ready to shell out money for recycling, but average 15 rupees was the market, whereas the new rates which has come out, the average has become 26, 27 rupees for the various categories, right? So a lot of producers are basically holding on to give the mandate, right? So, but now CPCB, as we are talking, on 12th September has come out yet another, instructions that whatever has been mentioned in the e-waste management guidelines 2022 and backed by various, communication which has, happened afterwards, everything has to be respected by the producer and the recyclers. And they said any deviation is also punishable. So they just 3 days back they have come out with circular. So which means as the time is passing by and everybody has to meet their targets by 31st March for this year, I am sure that ultimately more and more orders will come. So this was basically some of the producers who are playing a wait and watch game. Let us see if these orders, minimum rate circular can be revised or revisited. But that has not happened so far. So that's the reason you would see a better usage of capacity and order book in the second half.
Understood. So can I squeeze one more question? It's a follow-up on the same capacity thing.
Yeah.
So, sir, related to this capacity, what was our installed capacity last year by end of FY24? And when do we see that entire 55,000 MTPA getting fully utilized? What will be the timeline for this? What do you see there? That's all from my side, sir.
Okay, so last year we had 2 plants which were fully operational for the whole year, which is one is Faridabad 5,200 ton and another in Nashik 9,200 ton. The dismantling plant in Palwal for 17,000 ton came in the month of September. It was commissioned in August, but we started fully operationalizing it from the month of September. So last year it contributed for almost 6 months. Now coming back to 56,000, that includes 2 plants. One is lithium-ion plant in Nashik for 11,000 ton, which would be operational by Q1 26, and another plant in Telangana that should be basically operational by Q2. So next year the impact of it would be for 9 months for lithium-ion and for Telangana for about 6 months. So I think by 26, 27 we should be able to see utilization of the entire capacity.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for the detailed answers. Really appreciate this.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Next question comes from Rajiv Jain, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Namaste Akshay ji, namaste Sanjeev ji. बहुत ही अच्छा set of results. Congratulations for that. अच्छा,
thank you so much जी.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था कि जैसे अपना फाइनल स्टेज बात करते हैं अपन कि भी अपने रिसाइकलिंग वगैरह कर ली, जो रिसाइकल प्रोडक्ट्स है उनको कर दिया, उसके बाद में एक हैजार्डियस वेस्ट बनता है अपने यहाँ पे, तो उसका क्या ट्रीटमेंट होता है सर?
Sir, we are sending this hazardous waste to TSDF sites. These are government approved dumping sites. So for that we are paying them on a per kg basis.
समझ गया.
For transportation, lifting and then end-to-end disposal, end-of-life disposal.
अच्छा, और वो लोग आगे क्या करते हैं? मतलब कोई सॉइल को प्रॉब्लम नहीं आती है जैसे वो जमीन के अंदर कुछ करते? हाँ
नहीं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये क्वेश्चन थी, हमने भी वो आगे बात करी, कई बार जानना चाहा, बट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यहाँ पे क्या है कि वेरी कॉन्फिडेंशियल ये इन्फॉर्मेशन रखी जाती है. वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू, इवन नोबडी इज अलाउड टू एंटर. सेकेंडली, गवर्नमेंट अप्रूव्ड होती है प्रॉपरली. अगर हम अपने पॉल्यूशन बोर्ड को सारी चीजें रिपोर्ट करते हैं, उनकी भी एक पूरी डाउनवर्ड रिपोर्टिंग है ऑफ द एंटायर वेस्ट जो भी वो कलेक्ट करते हैं. सो देयर इज अ मैकेनिज्म, बट उनके अंदर वो क्या प्रैक्टिसेस फॉलो करते हैं, दैट इज टफ फॉर अस टू कमेंट.
समझ गया मैं. और दूसरा, आपके जो ये हैजार्डियस प्रोडक्ट में आप आर्सेनिक भी प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, आर्सेनिक वगैरह वो भी निकलता है?
नहीं, हम आर्सेनिक कोई अलग से प्रोड्यूस नहीं करते. हमारे पास जो रिसाइकल्ड फ्रैक्शंस होती हैं उसके अंदर ये सब मटेरियल होते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, फोम निकलता है रेफ्रिजरेटर से, या फिर सीआरटी ग्लास निकलता है टीवी में से. उसके अंदर ये फॉस्फर की, सल्फर की, आर्सेनिक की कोटिंग होती है. तो हम उसको अलग से एक्सट्रैक्ट नहीं करते, हम पूरे ही उस हजार्डस फ्रैक्शन को एज इट इज डंप कर देते हैं टू दी टीएसडीएफ साइट.
समझ गया सर, समझ गया. आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई. कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन वंस अगेन. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू.
Thank you. Next question comes from Abhishek Garg, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations actually for a great set of numbers. Just I wanted to understand on the margins. Last year we saw operating profit margin of 13%, which has dipped to around 10-11% this year. Do we expect this to revert back to 13% and more in H2 and going forward?
Yes, we are definitely expecting better margins because, as I said, the incentivization of EPR, it comes from the producers. So we have to continuously collect from the market, recycle. That creates a negative delta, and the service invoices are raised to the producer by the end of the year. So most of our EPR income it comes from December to March. So for that, the work is already in progress, and there is a negative delta that we produce.
Understood, actually. And actually, just to understand a bookkeeping question, we see that PBT and PAT for this quarter, this H1, it is same.
Yeah.
Do we expect this to be like the tax rate to be higher in H2, or like how will that play out?
PBT and PAT cannot be same. I think there is. Can we? Yeah.
So what's the question? Can you repeat it, please?
PBT and PAT is same for this H1.
No. PBT is 5.24 and our PAT is 5.34. They are not same. So
yeah, I mean the company hasn't paid out any taxes. Yeah.
No. So I think this year what has happened, it's a typical, accounting are different because of the IPO, thing. While computing income tax, we have taken 1/10 of IPO expense, which is 6.17 crore as a deduction of 61 lakh for the first, 6 months on a pro rata basis. So that left us 5.56 crore of expenses, which we transferred to deferred tax asset. And after adjustment from deferred tax liabilities, there is a, total asset which is created for 9.95 lakh. So that is the reason it has become positive this year, and we have arrived at a PAT of 5.34.
And do we expect it to remain like this, or do we expect the tax rate to be higher in H2?
We expect it to be same or change?
No, it will be probably in line with that, because next 6 months also we will get the benefit of 6 months of pro rata basis, which is close to about 61 lakh. So we expect the similar trend to continue. This will continue for 5 years. That's the reason we have created the deferred tax, assets.
And is it just an accounting thing, or we are actually not required to pay any taxes? Or is it just in the books of accounts?
No. This is the benefit which we are getting. So this is as per the admissible provisions. So this is accounted for 5 years. We'll keep getting benefit of it.
Understood. And actually, just one last question: what is the full year guidance on the revenue side and on the PAT side for this year?
So we can't give any guidance. Probably at this moment we are running at about 88% of YOY growth. You can probably think in what direction we are going. So in this call we can't give any guidance. But yes, as we said, our growth is pretty good, and we will keep doing even better than this.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you. We have a follow-up question from Sunny Kumar from IAF. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Can you give your revenue guidance and profit guidance for 3 to 5 years?
Sure. So at this moment, we can't give any guidance. You can only see the business trend. That's the reason we keep showing you all the performance for the previous year. Everything is given in an investor presentation. And yes, we are at this moment, I just said that while answering the previous question, we are growing close to about 90% on YOY growth. And we intend to keep our margins intact, rather doing better than last year. So that probably, give an indication which direction we are moving. But yes, for next 5 years, we can't give any predictions on this call.
Thank you, sir. That's it from my side.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a follow-up question from Vinit Khatri from Chris PMS. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Another question from my side is, if we are maintaining any order book, can you please tell me, like if you have any order book in place?
We do have orders, this thing, but see, there are certain companies where we are in a long-term contract for 3 years, 5 years. We keep getting all their materials, and there are many clients where we get the repeat order. So we do have, good orders in hand.
In terms of numbers, can you please tell those?
Sorry?
Can you please quantify the order? Like if we...
The order cannot be quantified. I have just given an indicative number that we are currently growing at 90% YOY growth. So again, in sensitive information, we'll keep doing, and we are here to do better.
Okay. And sir, one more question from my side. Like Attero, I think, is the biggest player, right, in India in this industry, eWaste industry?
Yeah.
So, sir, how do we look at that, and what is our vision going forward?
See, Attero definitely has the biggest numbers, but their presence is limited to just one facility. They don't have multiple plants. They are operating and driving all that business growth from one facility in Uttarakhand. That includes eWaste and lithium-ion battery processing capabilities. So definitely our business model on the outcast is very different from theirs. We see it as a decentralized business. We are targeting different geographies. We are trying to increase our presence in all parts of India, whereas Attero is getting those numbers just from one facility. So what is happening at their end is hard for me to comment on it, but we have presented you our intent and how we see this business and what our approach is. And all I can say is it is very different from, what and how Attero is doing it.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question comes from Ravi Arora from Farewell Advisory. Please go ahead.
I have a couple of questions. One question is, since when product is commodity, right, and that commodity is subjected to price fluctuation, so how do we ensure our margin are intact or better in terms of our approach?
Since we are buying the raw material all 365 days a year and also simultaneously selling the extracted commodities, various metals, all throughout the year. So all the fluctuations, they are accounted in procurement. So whenever the commodity prices go down, our procurement prices also decrease. And when the commodity metals are up, the procurement price also increases. I'm talking in terms of aggregator procurement. When it is contractual procurement, yes, we both, the seller and the buyer is bound by the rates that are submitted. So overall, in the commodity experience, I have been doing it for last 12 years. My family has been in this business for over 40 years. So we very well know this risk, and we calculate how the market moves, and sometimes we also hedge our positions if we have a major exposure of the stocks.
Okay. So the question is, can we talk about the risk and how do we mitigate those risks in our business?
See, as I said, firstly, we mitigate it by we can see it at advance how it is trending. We are very much deeply rooted in this industry. Secondly, we also hedge our positions for security. If we have major positions of a particular commodity, we see there could be major fluctuations, we hedge our position.
Okay. What is our current market share and where do we see our market share pan out in 26 and 27 in e-waste?
It's hard because, it is hard to differentiate between what is formal and informal in e-waste. But I would say in terms of formalized e-waste recycling, our market share would be somewhere around 5%, 3 to 5%. And with the kind of growth that we are looking at, this market share could nearly double up in 2 years.
Okay.
Also, this is a combined market share because there are many players in the market who are only doing the EPR work. As we said, our 60% revenues keep coming from proper recycling of various electrical and electronic assets. So I think on the recycler part, our percentage will be much higher. It's a blending of both when we talk about the market share of 3 to 5%.
Okay. The last question for me is about the refurbish. So is it like, for example, if you take, say, 100 mobile from a company, and if you find that 5 mobile are reusable, then we would refurbish those and sell it back, or is refurbish altogether different procurement?
We don't refurbish mobiles. We only refurbish laptops, CPU, etc., and other IT products. We don't even refurbish consumer goods. Because I think somebody else was also asking the question. Our refurbishment, I repeat, we only do a laptop and CPUs refurbishment.
Understood. Okay, so I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, Kaushal, only little time is left in the call. So maybe we can take up one last question and then we can conclude this earning call.
Yes, sure. The last question of the day comes from Jeet Panda, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, there are 2 questions in my mind. One is that you said your capacity utilization at this point of time is 35%, and so including the 2 new capacity that you are talking about, around 50,000 in that basis, what would be the revenue that we can generate at a full capacity utilization?
About 500 to 600 crores.
Okay. So what would be roughly, asset turnover in this case?
Sorry?
So basically our asset turnover would be what ratio?
Asset turnover means?
Like at what kind of asset, let's say 100 crore of asset, the top line would be how much of top line we can generate?
Total fixed asset you are talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So it will be close to about
20 crore CapEx, around 150 crores of revenue.
So about on an average, on a 20 crore kind of assets, we generate a revenue of close to about 130 to 140 crores. So for this, as we will keep investing into other plants, so maybe for 600 crore, we would be probably investing close to about, and fixed asset, about 80 to 90 crores.
Okay. The last question is that
how do you leverage your assets?
Right. I understand. Sir, you explained earlier about the EPR and the negative delta that you generate, and then the EPR that you realize it at a later stage, so maybe 3 to 6 months, right? So the negative delta or the delta that you are talking about, that anyway we have to carry it in our balance sheet, or at least that capital we have to deploy, right?
Yeah.
Always. So that much of under or unutilized capacity or capital will always be there, right?
Unutilized capacity will be there, but no, capital is always in rotation. So we have utilized the capital, just that the incentivization part, so normally we lose around 10 to 15% on the whole activity, whereas we get around 30% extra from the EPR incentivization. So overall, that makes our margin to around between 15 to 20%.
But for that period, that capital that we have already utilized as part of our procurement in terms of the negative delta, that will continue to be in our balance sheet. Like we have to bear that.
That normally affects our balance sheet for maybe 60 to 75 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Also, just to let you know that when we do the business, everything is linked to capacity. For example, for this plant, suppose we have a 17 ton per day capacity. So we have to keep doing the work throughout the year, because if the order comes in the month of February, say for 1200 ton, we can't process it, right? So that reason we have to keep working out the plant throughout the year, and then we are mandate, we transfer the credit and realize the money.
Yeah. Fair enough, sir. Understood. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I hand over the floor to Mr. Kaushal from Confideleap Partners for closing comments.
Thank you everyone for joining the conference call of Namo eWaste Management Limited. If you have any queries, you can write to us at info@confideleap.com. Once again, thank you everyone for joining the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the conference call for today. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you and have a good day.